Sorry, I was trying to silence it.
Say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May the record show all is present and accounted for. We do have a quorum. I would like to introduce Pastor Jim Smith. It's gonna the Faith Baptist Church here at Shoshoni is gonna lead us in prayer.
All right, our blessed Heavenly Father, as we do bow this evening, we thank you for the privilege that's ours to pray. You said in the Bible that men ought always to pray and not to faint. So I pray, dear God, as we ask you, Lord, for your blessings on the meeting tonight. We certainly pray for Mayor Highsmith, for each of the council members, Lord, and also pray for Chris, Lord, as he leads the police department, his officers, for their safety and welfare as they're out on the roads day after day. We pray for each one present tonight, Lord, and for the will of God in hearts and lives to be done. Pray, dear God, that you'll help as the matters of the town are discussed tonight and decisions are made. And all, Lord, thank you for the council members and the mayor and all those that are responsible to keep things running here in the town. Lord, we ask your blessings on them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Approval of the agenda. The motion to approve the agenda.
Make the motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Been moved by Councilwoman Harkey, seconded by Councilman Stetler that we approve the agenda. Any discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those the same. Motion passed, all affirmative. Any communication from citizens? Anything online, chief?
Sure.
Nothing online.
You guys?
No, later.
Oh. Okay, I guess I didn't.
Consent agenda, approval of the
that
minutes,
one.
December 12th, 2023. January 9th, 2024, January 18th, 2024.
Move that we approve consent agenda items A and B.
I would like to second that. I would make an amendment to put item E on the agenda. Dave's Asphalt, the check number 22307.
To add that to the agenda?
And under consent agenda, yeah, I like to put it, it's under bills.
At the special meeting, when that was approved, the transfer,
We never voted to pay the bill. We voted to move the money. I will read recommendation, transfer payment from Shoshoni General Fund to the economic projects for improved business access. That was the agreement to move the money from pot A to pot B. We did not vote on approving the check.
fair enough.
So I would like to have a vote on that check.
22,307.
Correct, Dave's Asphalt.
As part of this bill list.
Well, put it under E. Under consent agenda, we have A, B, C, D, but Dave's Asphalt as E. That's all.
That'll work.
Yeah, we've added E to the item, the consent agenda.
Yeah, so I move we approve A, B, and E.
I believe we need to make a correction
Back.
on the minutes on January 18th, 2024.
We'll find those.
And I believe we need add at the comments at the end more correctly what the mayor said at the end of the meeting when the mayor discussed economic development. And it was the right thing to do on moving forward on that. Moving forward on the economic development for the pavement on Third Street. As the recommendations showed by the Economic Development Committee, recommended that money would be for that project. I don't remember the correct verbiage, but the clerk can add what was actually said to that. Nothing more, nothing less. Anything else be like to be added to the consent agenda?
No.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
I move we approve consent agenda A, B, and E as amended.
Last one was E as an elephant.
It was, which was what you had added, the Dave's asphalt check.
Right,
A and B, and then also the Dave's asphalt check.
E.
I'm not against C and D, but I figured we were gonna have a discussion. That's why I left them out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to try to smooth,
So-
you know,
Been moved and seconded for A, B, and E to be approved. Jake Stetler did.
no, I moved it.
Oh, he did. Oh, you moved. We need a second. And been seconded by Councilwoman Hardkey. Any further discussion on those three items? None being all in favor, say aye. Aye.
I had a question. No, go ahead. We'll say aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion passed on A, B, and E of the consent agenda. Let's look at C, Caspar payment application number 6, $3,810. Can I have a motion to approve?
And that's part of the retaining.
No.
Oh, if we get into the vote in a second, we can get into discussion, Councilman.
I make a motion to approve C, Caspar application, payment application number 6 for $3,810.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Councilman Stetler, second by Councilman Hartkey to pay consent agenda C, Caspar application of 3810. Discussion.
It was. I did see the deals in there, but I wasn't completely clear on the $3,810. I guess.
So the $3,810 is the final remaining sum due for the contracted work minus the retainage. So
Okay.
it was work completed through September. It was certified in September, but there was additional things before the payment was released. That's why it's coming so late. For that, and that brings us 100% paid of the contracted sum minus the retainage.
Okay.
What about the water fountain?
Can we get into Caspar's D? Can I have a motion to approve D?
Well, we haven't approved C.
Oh, we haven't approved,
Approved C.
okay, let's go to C, then let's finish that. The water fountain, if we're still in discussion on C,
So I don't know where that.
has nothing to do with the water fountain.
Okay, I didn't know if it was C.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
D.
yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay. So any more discussion on C? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye, both same, motion passed, all affirmative. Can I have a motion to approve partial release of retainage C. D,
Make the motion.
been moved by Councilwoman Hartke. Yeah, can I have a second?
Second.
And second by Councilman Zant that we approve partial release of retainage of cast bars.
So
Discussion.
is this where the water fountain part comes in?
Okay, I've been having lengthy discussions on the water fountain. In doing further looking at what there should be, I can say cast bars don't believe they owe anything. I do. I think we do. I don't know. During demo, when they were demoing the floor for water and sewer and stuff, they ran into the water line that fed the water fountain. A couple inches in the contract, they said that was unforeseen and they destroyed it, so they demoed it and didn't replace it. They did not tell us per the contract, the way I read it right. I fed Marshall the contract. He's going to review that, but it's they didn't notify us. They did have to give us an option, and then they removed the water fountain without our knowledge, and did away with the whole thing. There again, there was nothing in the plans that they were supposed to remove that water fountain. We have purchased the water fountain because that wasn't part of their bid. But they maintain that they shouldn't have. I tried to get an estimate today, but the plumber that came in's not. He said he gave me a list of another plumber that would be qualified to put the plumbing in similar to like, he doesn't have the equipment to do it the way this has been done. And so I'm trying to get a cost on that. That's probably not a huge number, and then there's electrical issue that they said there was no electric there. I asked for proof of that. They're supposed to be providing us pictures of what they're maintaining, so. But that's where the water fountain is. Okay, but I think there's a way forward. The plumber that was here today thinks we can do that relatively easily, installation. But it's still going to cost some money. The part of the retainage, we still have, issues we feel with the one restroom in particular. That needs where it's working properly. They fill with a high volume, higher flush toilet that could fix that. Our third party plumber that looked at it does not feel. That was actually his first suggestion, but after looking at what was provided by the camera and looking, he said that's he doesn't feel that's correct. Thinks it needs to be, part of that line needs to be replaced.
That line's in the concrete then.
Yeah, but so what, and they're requesting not partial, they want full retainage. With my conversation with Wes, I believe owns Caspar Construction. I told him our intention was probably to release some retainage, but not all of it. And then we'd work towards a resolution on the rest. He seemed content with that. But I will say our architect recommended we pay pay 100% of the retainage. But I think there's some questions that I think we need to give Marshall a chance to review everything before we do that. This would be what I believe.
How much is the retainage?
46,000,
How much?
46,975. Sorry, correction, 46,745. Numbers.
What's your suggestion on?
My suggestion, I think we hold between 10 and 11,000 of it.
About the door thing?
That is partially why the conversations I had with the mayor on my issues with that whole thing, being that the door was damaged. And they tried to deny it, say that was on us, that somehow after the door was hung, that we took a hammer or mallet and just beat the top of it and then glued it back together and put some stuff on it ourselves. That makes no sense. They dropped the door. So they knew they dropped it because they took corrective actions to fix it and hide it.
Right.
So that's about $2,000 or so to replace the door, the hardware. And now we have to pay the consultant to come out, additional travel costs to install the hardware for the door because it wasn't properly done. She came us, now she has to come back a second time for one door. It's going to cost us an extra $600. So that was part one. Part two was we know the difference in the sewer project. If it would have been done during construction versus done now is about $4,000 difference. And then some other little issues, and that's kind of where the $10,000 kind of came into
The water fountain deal.
and that's still
Yeah.
be rectified and whatnot, but to pay the rest of the retainage that we do owe. And not withhold that any further, but paying that, withholding that remaining 10,000 until, actually, I got a number. 10,265 withholding.
And that number should,
So you're holding a fourth back,
What's that?
1/4 back.
Pretty close to that
Yeah.
approximately. I mean,
that should protect the town from any expenses that's Caspar's fault.
and as long as they come back and once that's complete, then we would release the remaining retainage. But if they don't come back, we have to pay it at our own expense.
Right.
That's
That's
Marshall
Marshall
issue.
holding the money. They maintain it's all warranty stuff, but I don't think that's warranty and they.
Warranty on whom?
Yeah, well, they said that, they recovered. I said, well, can I have that in writing that
Your warranty on
Yes.
them, as soon as they warranty them, well,
But if, that's, hopefully we're holding that money that they haven't been very responsive on coming addressing these issues. And I explained to them I was frustrated with that. And it's hard to build trust when we've been dealing with this for several months. As be honestly, is where, and I said, it's my duty to try to protect the town and that's what.
Well, I mean, when you go to wash your hands, you got to hold the soap dispenser with one hand while you squirt it with the other and put it back down. It
Yeah.
just fell off the wall. I mean, things like that,
All of them,
All of them.
all of them.
Yeah, they weren't installed properly.
because they only installed them with the strips, the sticky strips. They didn't put the screws in the wall.
Well, it's a new wall. You don't want to put holes in it, right?
So, yeah, so it's damaged the wall, like in the bathroom down the hall. When it fell off numerous times, it damaged the wall by the sink. And yeah, this one had the sticky stuff. Jennifer was able to get it out of the sink, but yeah, they've all fallen off.
So things like that. They may be minor, but again,
Is the point.
I don't know how that's a warranty thing. That's a installation thing.
Yeah, wasn't installed properly. In the sewer, and in the sewer line, there's definitely a lip in there that we've had. A couple plumbers look at it and then said that where they joined the old and the new is not installed properly. What plumbers told me that's looked at it third party and they maintain it was. But there's an obvious lip in there, you can see that.
Oh, with the camera.
Yeah, we cambered it.
And that's what's hanging stuff up.
Yeah,
It's the lip where they
that's one,
installed
that's
it.
definitely one that is definitely hanging up there. So. You know, I think we have legitimate gripes. I don't know, well. I hope the contract protects us against stuff like that, but in the contract, I know they're supposed to notify us of any. If they find anything that's not good,
Well, they weren't afraid to throw change orders.
no. And so they're, like the demo that when they demoed, they, they found that water line. They wasn't where they were supposed to. We had a bit of change order for us to fix it, I admit. But we should have been given that opportunity to say, I know, they didn't show our engineers that. They didn't talk to our engineers about the sewer, if what their opinion, if it was okay. They made the contractor looked at it and said, yeah, that's okay. They would have brought it to our engineers, they didn't even do that, and then required, well, I read the contract, they're required something like that. If they see something out of order, they should notify the owner and the engineer both that there's a deficiency. Their opinion, that wasn't a deficiency.
Well, can we make a motion to pay them 36,480?
Thank you.
Is
That's,
that,
that's so moved. Can I have a second?
we already have a motion on the
Oh, we do.
floor.
We've already made them.
We just didn't specify
Well, we
the
didn't
amount.
make
We
it.
would need to amend the motion
Okay.
to.
So we just,
I second your amendment.
right.
Perfect.
So it's been moved second to amend, that we'll pay Caspar's partial release of the retainage of 36,000 and
36,480.
$480. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. Motion passed all in the affirmative. No public hearing, ordinance, 13A-1, street closures, second reading.
Ordinance 13-8-1 is previously entered into the record.
I move we accept it. The following amendments.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Councilman Zent, second by Councilwoman Harkey, that we approve resolution ordinance number 13-8-1, street closures. Second reading on.
Well, he said with-
Discussion. I have an amendment.
He said with the following amendments.
I never.
In section 1. I would like to strike the word commercial vehicles. And insert the word diesel fueled engines.
And I understand the reasoning why, because you'll have certain trucks with refrigerated trucks. Is that what you're with refrigerated compressor, what you're,
Well, part of me was, what's a commercial vehicle? You find that, to me, it's. Because we can have gas powered vehicles. What about U-Hauls? What about private vehicles or,
what about my pickup, my
Yeah.
my 83 pickups loud?
yeah, so I'm focusing just strictly on the type of engine they have. Diesel fueled engines,
But my 83 is a gas engine.
okay,
I'm just saying, what I mean, it's kind of loud, but I don't go there park.
yeah, okay, so.
So what you're telling me, Mr. Mayor, is that you have a malfunctioning muffler.
Oh, no, it's the way it's designed. My wife told that to a highway patrolman once, oh, my husband made it that way.
Sorry.
Well, that was 50 years ago. Anyway, but yeah, I didn't install it as bought like that, but I don't want, but it's a little loud. So. But that would encompass the
Yes,
refrigerated units.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes, please.
Probably a better way to do it would be the way the highway patrol, or Wyoming Department of Transportation does and do it by the weight of the commercial vehicle. Chris?
Well, I think the intent of this, what brought this to even be an ordinance discussion is. Commercial vehicles, i.e. semi-tractor trailer combinations with a diesel powered engine that are. Loud.
I guess my point is the Department of Transportation classifies them by
Weight.
So once you get up to like a certain weight, they're pretty much gonna be tractor trailers.
That's kind of what I was saying,
Okay,
is that's
yeah.
what we're specifying, over 26,000 pounds, 26,001 pounds and above.
So. I'm ignorant on that part of the laws and stuff.
So that was, so if you're trying to get to moving vans, your U-Hauls, they're all gonna be under 26,000.
Okay,
So the next number you choose is
10,000
10,000.
pounds. Yes.
So so what he's talking about, when you drive down the freeway, when you get close to port of entry, it will say any vehicle 10,000 pounds or more, that's their baseline. So that will cover your U-Hauls, that will cover. Now, is that person gonna know what the truck weighs? But yet your pickup trucks are under that weight.
Or
I don't know if that's an issue that we have over here idling or not.
So for all our issues have been, that I'm aware of, have been a derivative of semi-truck
Semis.
yeah.
combinations.
Okay.
Not.
I think your
trucks.
hot shots around here would be a rarity as far as someone who's in a 1-ton dually that sleeps in his back seat. Don't see it very often,
Only if the road's closed.
unless the road's closed. When
Yeah.
the road's closed, I hope you don't ticket those people that park.
Other end of town, there you go.
Yeah,
So I'm open to whatever makes your life easiest, weight or definition of engine.
But I mean, I'm not gonna know the weight, I mean, it's a great idea, but
Well, should they have a
It's in the door.
DOT sticker on their side of their truck?
yeah,
the U-Hauls won't.
but
It'll be, the sticker inside will be on the door, but
Right.
not on the exterior.
I mean, obviously a tractor, semi-truck
Right.
can be fairly self-explanatory for the weight. But what if it's a truck, trailer only?
Well, commercial vehicle would include, I think if you leave it as commercial vehicles, that does include hot shots sleeping in there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
commercial vehicle, you're running it for hire.
Well, I said, if the goal is, if U-Haul trucks are the goal, if that's not a problem, then I would say I'd go with the commercial side of things. That seems 9 out of 10 are gonna be the tractor trailer. The loudest engine, your 500 horse versus even the U-Haul is probably quiet.
They're gas engines and well muffled from my experience. That's been a long time.
Now, the big one is diesel,
Yeah, the big one's a diesel, I knew that.
like a 26-footer or whatever
Yes.
it is. If you're moving like,
Oh, yeah, I guess it was a diesel, wasn't it?
the big one is, the rest of them are gas.
If you
But-
went back to the weight, if you wanted to say any commercial vehicles, 10,000 GVW or more. Then if the one U-Haul got to be exempt from that, it would take care of.
Anything over a 1-ton dually pickup.
Yeah, I think that's probably if you added that commercial vehicle over 10,000.
Okay,
Because it falls in line with exactly what Marshall's saying, the expectation, someone that shows up here, like I said, they might not know what their weight is, they know they're idling, they know they're commercial, they know.
Well, not too many people are, pulling up back there in a 1-ton diesel pickup that's unmufflered and very loud and sleeping in the back of the cab. I mean, that's not been a problem we've had yet.
No,
So,
here's it's a random thing, what about people that run their generator?
now that I say it, it's gonna happen tonight.
they don't make that much noise.
So if a motorhome pulls up here and runs their generator. That's, that okay?
I haven't heard, I know people run them, but they're very.
Well, I mean, like right over here, so motorhome is over 10,000, but it's not commercial.
Right,
But they make those generators as quiet as
Right, so
humanly
at the end of the
possible.
day, I think we keep coming back to it's the big trucks, so.
I think the question you're asking, do we want to ban all parking completely between 10 and
Yes.
6, or do we want to ban just
Barricades up
commercial
there.
vehicles? I think that's the nexus of the conversation.
Couple concrete blocks, we don't have to have this
So
conversation.
I think the intent is commercial vehicles. I think 10,000 pounds is completely definable to what we talked about
Right.
earlier. I think that's a proper change.
Okay, so. So I can withdraw my motion to change it to, diesel fueled engines to commercial and add the words over 10,000 pounds.
GVWR.
Yeah,
Gross vehicle.
gross vehicle weight.
Second.
Been moved and second that we amend. The ordinance, city ordinance, to add the words above 10,000 GVWR.
Yes.
Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. We down to lease agreements. We haven't had a chance, we're only missing 2 lease agreements. Correct?
Actually, I was wrong last time and I think Gelsman's that is correct. And
Or Stetler be it.
and Stetler. There's a third one that we missed that was added. So there's 3.
3.
It's Garrett,
Okay,
and also G and K.
okay.
So
Nice
what
catch.
Jake said,
Do we have
Mr.
all them prepared?
no,
We need to work on them just a little bit more.
What I basically had was a template, because I don't have the legal descriptions, but I just fixed it up and sent it to Chris just now, but I'm a little behind, so.
Okay.
But I don't know, maybe you can get that to you. The only thing that was missing on it was I'd added the previous verbiage. I failed to put in the prorating it in case you sell certain sections, so I got that in there and I just sent it to Chris.
I talked with Garrett Herbst today and I told him we were working on that. We didn't have it quite finished. He's not concerned. I hadn't heard from it's Stetler family yet. But we should probably have that prepared by the next meeting.
Yeah, and like I said, I just added that in there and I sent it to Chris.
So all the other changes that the council had wanted were already in place.
Yes,
The one that was added was the right to amend. I believe that was what we were waiting on. And currently, if we add that after approval, would be the lessor reserves the right to amend the amount of acreage of this lease without prior notice to leasee. Was there any other language that?
I don't know why.
And the prorating the payment in there too, that should be in there when I sent you.
My big concern on that was not locking the town into a deal. We're trying to sell land and now we're in a lease and now we can't sell it.
And
So that way we could still lease it out for grazing, but if it's any of that land gets sold, then we can do that.
I discussed that with Garrett Herbst today and he knows that particularly the one parcel he's renting that we may in the future sell some acreage off that. He's very open to that, yes.
So as long as that language is in there, I guess that's all we're waiting on then. So,
And had we discussed what we were gonna charge for the annual rent?
currently it's at $100 per year. That's. I guess we haven't settled on any change to that.
No, I would.
We also talked about having extended until, well, just 1 year at a time.
right,
Well, yeah, that's, yes,
a longer lease.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a longer lease and the dollar amount
right.
is yet to be decided. So,
3 to 5 years, I believe, would be something we should look at. minimum of 3 and maybe as many as 5.
I was in my talking with Garrett and all, it'd be more valuable to the person leasing if it was longer term. It'd get more money annually for the town doing it that way.
And they have the termination clause where they can cancel it if they move or want to
Right.
let it go.
So this is the lane, I'll send it back to Chris, but I added this under the reservation for lessor's purpose. Lessor hereby reserves the right to use following property on the above described premises for town or public purposes during the term of lease. Lessor also reserves the right to sell portions of or all of the property if the lessor sells a portion of the property, the lease amount shall be prorated for the acreage still in use by the lessee. Future lease payments from the date of sale will be based on the acreage still in use by the lessee.
Would there also be an area if we sell a partial that the lessee could also cancel his contract at that time too?
Well, we have under number 12, we already have the
Okay.
Termination.
or 11, the right to terminate says the
Okay.
lease may be terminated by either party upon notification to the other party.
Okay, very good. Yeah, we're covered. Both parties are covered well, so.
As long as that works.
And a longer lease, I think they're more willing, the leasee may be more willing to pay a little more money for the property. It's more value to them. They can plan ahead instead of year to year.
How much you want to pay, Jake?
I don't know what you're talking about. You're gonna have to talk to Mrs. Stetler on anything to do with any of that. I only speak of that north of the highway.
I don't even know what the average leasing fees are in the state typically per acre. Is it per head?
If
Typically?
BLM, it's yes for how many, they got a formula of how your property will feed, how many calf units.
In the last handful of years, everything else has doubled.
Yeah, without I haven't went and researched that, but that was sort of my thoughts. Been $100 for a long time. And we're getting a little more security. We get the horses and cows, whatever, to graze our weeds down.
We need some goats for the sewer
Yeah.
pond. I know a guy.
What's the council's pleasure?
I thought we'd just bring this back next time as
Okay,
unfinished business, because they don't have all the numbers yet or
okay,
details out.
it works for me. So we will table that and bring it back. We'll be all prepared for our next meeting on lease agreements, for the 3 lease agreements that are still outstanding. New business sewer PER. You wanna lead on that, Chris, or do you want me to?
I can go, I mean, I guess, explain it.
Okay, go ahead.
Looking forward to projects coming up in the future years that are still completed. The sewer lagoon specifically has become an issue that was discovered during our expansion west of the sewer line with the DEQ and as well as our public works crew with the leach field specifically in it not being able to properly handle the flow, as well as we've had to sends them out down to Poison Creek and whatnot because it's not leaching properly. And so the question was, the next step would be a PER to see what we have to do. And speaking with Mayor Highsmith, the applying for a grant to pay for the PER was suggested that we do, and this was about 3 months ago. The problem with that is that we're talking from inception of grant, finding the grant, applying for the grant, receiving the grant, the notice to proceed, selecting an engineer, we're looking at a year or more down the road. The issues we're having with the sewer lagoon, I think, need to be addressed sooner than that with a PER. And then the hope is that the thought, generally speaking, in the past was that what we put towards the PER, if we pay for it out of the town enterprise fund for sewer, that money would then be able to be applied as the cash match later on for whatever project we would do to rectify that, whether it's 95.5, 80/20, whatever. And so I'm asking for the authority to seek out proposals for a PER, and the cost of that will be paid from the enterprise fund.
And the enterprise fund has the funds.
Yeah, in your financials, I think. You have that, but I can give you a number.
But that's something they do is let you put that money already spent. It's no guarantee they will.
Yeah, but a lot of times they
will.
if you put the money on the front end, is because that's part of the process of getting.
For the PER, a lot of times they'll apply that towards your match.
Yes.
Typically.
Not guaranteed,
Yeah,
but there's
depends
a
which
good
grant
chance
you're
that'll-
applying for, but typically you'll get credit for that as,
And so in our wastewater reserve, we have $218,000. And I believe we have a couple of, my bad, 220.
The clerk treasurer made that correction.
Thank you.
Was close.
So you're wanting to just put it out for bids for a PER or?
Yeah, ultimately, yeah, and I believe, I don't know. If you have any questions for Kyle or James, of course, on that process. That's not for bid, but I would like to go ahead and do that with the town's money and not wait for a grant to come through. I think
we need to move on it.
I do too. Obviously, the grant that we were looking at for the east side, that's gonna come into play. But the PER for this, that's a grant that I'll apply for a PER if we need to update one for the sewer. If not, we don't have to do that. But this is one that I don't think we can wait, because it's already failing.
Right. It's
So,
gonna get worse.
Yeah.
What the grant that Chris is talking about, where we had a engineering survey done with some of our whole sewer system.
Right.
We're looking at maybe moving forward on some of that, but we don't know if the data we have is dated. Will they require us to update before we go into seeking grants to work on that? Do we need another engineering review before we move forward to make this engineering? What we got to have that information to apply for the grant to justify what we're doing. So we're just working through that. I know. So whether we need to apply for a PER for that, or what's going to be our best step forward, and we need to have some discussion with both some engineering, maybe the state, to see how we proceed on that. Because because it's old data, but maybe it's still good, but I don't know.
That's a grant that I'll be working on, is addressing the rest of the sewer that needs to be up, like Maple Street, that as well as the east side of town that still needs to be finished. That I have time to do with a grant. That's
Right. We're not under the gun on that one.
it's still working.
Right.
Yeah. But it needs to be addressed.
At
Whether
some
we have to do a PER first, or we can just move straight to a grant to do it. That's what we have to figure out. But this, I do know we need to do a PER.
Right.
Yes.
So how much is the PER gonna cost out of your 218 or 220,000?
No, I would venture to say, depending
Half
on
of
the
it?
scope of it, somewhere between 20 to 40,000.
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna say 20 to 50. but
20 to
in that
50,
run.
somewhere
But
there.
we have to have a-
ballpark. That's a wide range, but
Yeah.
Okay, but you've answered my question.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking at is not depleting this fund.
No,
So I don't want to damage that fund in case we have a major catastrophe, something
Sure.
along the line.
oh, absolutely.
correct.
So that's what I'm looking at.
And we also have 38,000 in the depreciation fund, which will cover some of the replacement stuff, not the PER.
Right.
So, yeah, that additional for things that need to be replaced that have timed out. We could utilize that funds for it.
But the DEQ finally agreed that we needed to do something with our system out there. We tried to talk them into it last summer and they weren't convinced. But finally, Mike and Bart have done a lot of work out there and we got it working much better. But it's not working as designed. It's not working as designed. They've done a lot of work out there and upgraded it, and it's doing much better, but it's still not working as designed. It's, I think, it was a poor design, but in any event, Kyle was involved a little bit. He might be enlightening you if you got any.
Kyle did the poor design?
No, he did not do that. He seen the aftermath. He was not involved in the design. Ouch. I'll make that perfectly clear. And Jim may be aware of some of the stuff that went on also, but but there was somebody from Colorado that wasn't even licensed to do business in the state of Wyoming that was involved with a lot of it. And that's a long story. I won't get into everything, but they tried to, make something work. We can blame the county for planting the minnows. That was the biggest problem. They reclassified Poison Creek as a class 2 fishery. And that-
Very nice.
Yeah, class 2 fishery, Poison Creek is. The same as the Wind Rivers is classified the class 2 fishery.
Well, there's fish in there.
Get 3
But
eyes.
anyway, I don't know, but but yeah, we need to address it, so.
So you're right.
So we were
So
asking
it is.
for permission to.
I make a motion that we have the towns begin a PER for the sewer system, lagoon,
Yes,
leach field.
been moved by Councilman
I'll
Zent
second it.
and second by Councilman Harkey that the city move forward and researching, developing the PER to address the lagoon and the dowsing system in leach field all connected. Any further discussion?
So we're putting that out to bid.
Well, no, we development, discussion of development, will probably not put it out for put out a request for SOQs. Would be the proper way to do this, I believe. I can have Kyle or Jim discuss that process if you'd like to sort of clarify it. They can do much better than I can. Would that work? Have them involved with our discussion right now?
That'd be fun.
Please
That'd be great.
step up, either one of you.
Kyle with HDR, mayor, council. So the statement of qualifications process is basically the city had put out some advertisements in the newspaper and engineering firms would submit their qualifications. Typically with just qualifications, you just get, here's kind of the stuff that we can do. And then based on that, you can narrow it down if you want to do interviews. And it kind of depends. There's a lot of different processes for this. If you're going to pursue federal funds, you kind of have to go through a qualifications-based selections. So kind of the difference between qualifications-based selections and like a low bid selection is you're selecting the engineering firm based on how you've reviewed their qualifications. And a lot of times you don't even see their fee until you've picked like the guys that you think are the most qualified. And you only open that firm's fee, and then you begin negotiations with them. If you can't get to an agreement with them, and for whatever reason, you just throw them off the table, and then you go to the next guy down the list that was most
Exactly.
qualified and open his fee. And if his fee is way higher than the first guy's, you can't go back to the first guy. You're kind of stuck working your way down the list. Is kind of how it works. And so I don't know, the reason the feds kind of do that is just, it's kind of like if you're going in for brain surgery,
You don't pick the.
you don't want
cheapest
to pick
one.
the cheapest guy. Sometimes is kind of the way to look at it. So, and the other tough part with, when different firms are looking at a project, unless you really have a really clear, defined scope of work, firm A may see the project this way and firm B may see it this way. And the difference is you may be not comparing apples to apples. And so that's the other part of that sometimes happens. So, and there's, you can do qualifications or you can ask for proposals. Proposals are a little bit more in depth. With those, you've typically get more information from the engineer on what their approach to the project would be and what their, understanding of the project is versus qualifications where it's just, here's our qualifications to do the job, and you're just kind of picking them based on that. So, what I would recommend is with either process is just kind of come up with a scoring criteria that whoever's on your selection panel uses to kind of score and compare what you get in. So that's kind of some of that in a nutshell. It's like a 5-minute version of QBS. Any questions or comments? Jim's got more to add.
Would you like to add anything?
Doing pretty good so far.
Me personally, I like working on qualifications based stuff because it's just sometimes when it comes down to bids, it's just like I said, some firms may see it one way and some firms may see it another. So
Basically try to do is select.
Jim, could you come up and speak to the microphone, please? That way everybody can hear you. And you're recorded.
Thank you. I'm Jim Gores, as you, I think, all know. What you basically try to do is base the selection of an engineer based on their qualifications and then work your way down the list. If you have to go to another firm, who's rated number 1, number 2, number 3, etc., and go through the process of selection in that manner. Based, if you want, based on proposal, then you come up with a defined scope of work that you want to see accomplished, and then take again the qualifications of the firm as well as what their approach is to the work that you're requesting be done. Make your selection based on both the qualifications and the approach that's presented for the work that you want to have accomplished.
Any questions? Thank you.
Certainly, yeah.
Appreciate it. Both of you.
So your motion was to put out for the statement of qualifications then, that's where we're at there?
Yeah,
That was the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Any more discussion on that since the input of information we've had? Feel good with the SOQ?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay. No more discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed all in the affirmative. And I appreciate both Kyle and Jim for giving us input on that.
Anytime.
Quarterly financial report, please.
My anxiety just went up.
There's only 4 million people watching, they tuned in, they dropped Fox News and here they are.
Um, okay, so it's the, our second quarter report for fiscal year 2024. During the second quarter of fiscal year 2024, we saw higher than expected income from numerous items, specifically property tax and interest income, which continue to exceed budgeted amounts. As expected, receipts from sales and use taxes and fuel taxes were below quarterly projections. The year-to-date through the second quarter remains above budgeted revenues and is expected to continue to increase through the third and fourth quarters, resulting in an estimated excess of revenue of between 2 to 4% or $20,000 to $40,000 above revenue estimates. Expenditures for the year for non-payroll related expenses are below budget in all departments. And if the trend continues to the end of the year, it will further increase positive year balance. The net end of year balance will result in less than anticipated being pulled from savings as initially budgeted for projects. We're doing good.
Any questions for the clerk? None being, Bob, did I forget Dave's asphalt check?
Yes.
Did we discuss?
No,
No.
Oh, that's
Passed.
Yeah.
passed.
Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't
Sorry.
miss anything.
We did A, B, and E first,
Okay,
and
I
then
just want-
C,
I
and then
just
D.
want to make sure I didn't miss anything. If I did, it wouldn't be the first time. Just
Huh?
catch
Said I
myself.
included it.
Anything, Councilman Stetler, that you'd like to talk about?
No, I think we're
Any?
squared away.
Anything, Councilwoman Harkey, you'd like to discuss?
Have we ever figured out anything with the park with that plaque?
That is something we were supposed to have by April. I've worked with, and with this spring that we're gonna, April-ish, that we're gonna put that together. I've been waiting for our historian to get a little more time on her hand, and she's gonna be working on that. But that's what we're doing, yes.
Okay.
I've been in contact with
I just know
the
she said,
Historical Society.
I just know she said we had to hurry up with it.
Yeah, we had the discussion, met with them and we kicked around and we decided it'd be best to wait till spring. But yes,
That's it.
Councilman Zan,
I have, only thing I cure our dogs. That's an ongoing situation in town.
Unfortunately, I'm trying.
Yeah. So we really don't have a pound, so
Do what?
we don't have a pound anymore, in essence.
Not right now. Once the weather warms up, we do. I just don't have the ability to do it right now.
That's, yeah.
So it puts us in a predicament.
and you know, that's
That's all I
something
had.
maybe address in our next budget session. So desired. Mike, Councilman Demick, would you have anything? Like
I was
that?
asked about the property on Fourth Street, the trailer that was moved in when that auction or whatever was at a springtime deal.
Yeah, with the vehicles. So that is, we're trying to find the people, the landowners, to issue them a citation. As advised by our town attorney, that they have to have a day in court, at which point then we can enforce it and take physical custody of the property.
So maybe a springtime deal.
We're actually looking for them right now. We've been looking for them. Officer O'Neill has been dedicated to tracking them down exclusively, wherever they may roam.
Got it.
So that's all we're waiting on. I believe, Marshall, right?
Yeah, those pesky property rights, we got to give them notice. They can come show up and complain to the council,
And then we can take it.
then we can start the process with it.
Anything? You want, anything else you want to add, chief, or Cam, or anything else? Yeah.
That's it.
I'll try to keep this short. The shooting complex, we're gaining traction on that. I believe Fremont County has a very strong possibility to get it here because we are Fremont County. We got a good working group. We have a lot of things that would tend to bring it. I will note Casper finally joined the Trona County, so that makes they're a formidable foe or whatever to bring it to Casper. But they have a lot of wind. I still say that. So, but anyway, Gillette I know is working real hard. There's some others, but I believe Fremont County definitely has a legitimate shot of getting that here. We do have a lot of work in front of us and in a short time to do it in, but it's moving forward. Code book, I think, did we address that all last meeting? We gained some, Chris, right?
Yeah, so we had a meeting with them. Apparently the company's changed hands. And we just kind of got, we'll get back to you. So we gave them an April deadline to get it completed. So that's what that's.
What section, zoning?
Zoning, code, building code. And enforcement of existing nuisance violations or
Okay.
building, in disrepair, reprieve, whatever you want to call it, buildings that putting some teeth into that verbiage is what they're working on. So we should have some proposals here, hopefully.
So. That's basically all I need to talk about. If no one has anything else, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Been moved by Councilman Hartley to adjourn. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Steller. I thought people wanted to stay longer. I didn't know. Any further discussion? None being. All fair say aye. Aye. Motion passed in the affirmative at 8:03.